Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my YouTube channel, and in this tutorial I will be teaching you how to achieve this particular blending tone. So for this particular blending tone, I've gotten this image from Image Lab or Image FX. So I already generated some images that I'll be using, which is what you are seeing on the screen right now. So let's quickly proceed, as what I have just done to the image is just to exclude the background. It's just to exclude the background, and I was able to do that. Now we have this on this particular background. So what we want to achieve now is to blend the skin tone together, like what we see on the thumbnail. Now to do that, what you just need to do is to go to your hue and saturation adjustment layer, include a hue and saturation adjustment layer over the image that you want to apply the skin tone on, So the next thing you need to do is to adjust the slider accordingly. When you adjust the slider accordingly, be sure to check colorize, then adjust the slider accordingly. Then what you need to do next is to select your images. Make sure you select both. I selected this. Now you can see the marquee selection around the first image and the second image. Now what you need to do now is to click on the layer mask. Oh my bad. What you need to do now is to click on the layer mask of the hue and saturation layer you just applied over it, and go to image on the menu. From the menu, image, then you go to apply image, then merged. It's going to be merged, then it's going to be blending mode of multiply. So leave the opacity at 100%, then click on OK. If you check what happened here, it means that on the layer now we have the application like a grayscale of the major image applied over the skin tone, such that the hue and saturation doesn't overwork the image or affects it too much. Now if we check by holding Alt, then clicking on the thumbnail or clicking on the thumbnail of the layer mask of this hue and saturation, you get to see what is happening here. So we have a grayscale version of the image now applied over the hue and saturation layer mask. Now if I do the same thing, holding Alt, then clicking the thumbnail, is going to switch back to the original. Now let me turn this off a bit so we get to see the difference. This is what we have here before, now this is what we have here now. But as you can see, what we have here now, the white area tends to show over the background. So what we need to do is to further edit this by making sure that every other places that are not needed are painted black. Now how do we do this? I already have a selection over this image. So what I just need to do is to invert the selection, which I can do using Ctrl+Shift+I. Then I am just going to pour in a black fill. I'm just going to pour in a black fill now over this using the paint bucket tool. So once I pour in the black, now what you have here is this part is no longer affected by the hue and saturation. Now our target now is not majorly the entire image here. What we are targeting is the skin, because it is a skin tone thing we are working on. If you look closely, you will notice that the toning now is affecting the hair and other parts of the body for this image. So what we need to do now is to paint off the part that we don't need it to be on. Now how do we do that and achieve this quickly? First we need to deselect, then using Alt, we click on the thumbnail now again of the layer mask that is associated with the hue and saturation. So once you do that, we want to zoom in and make sure our brush is activated. So once your brush is activated, set the flow to around 50%. 56 is my percentage now, thereabout. Check for the hardness and make sure that it is soft. Now what we want to do is we want to paint off all these excess parts and focus on the skin. Just make sure that the skin is what you are seeing here. So we are painting in black now to hide those parts we don't want. So what you just need to do is to paint off those parts that we don't need the hue and saturation to apply on. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'll be speeding up this part, then I will be getting back to you in a moment. Now at this point, I want to say that if you have not subscribed to my channel, make sure you do that right now. Ring the notification button, press the like and share button, share to your friends, share to your loved ones, share to those who need to learn this particular trick and application for their images as they design and grow in the design industry. Alright, so right about now I've been able to work on this first part, the first picture. So let's just have a look at how it blends in. Just as you can see, wow, it is wonderful. Now let's quickly do the same to the second image and make sure that it corresponds as well. Alright, I'll be speeding this up too, but I'll be applying some other ways. I won't be using the brush this time. I'll be using the selection tool, the polygonal selection tool, so that it will be faster. And again, because I don't want this video to be too long, such that it begins to become boring to you as you watch the tutorial. Alright, so I will speeding this up now in a jiffy. Just bear with me as we proceed. Okay, so we are done now treating the hue and saturation layer mask such that it matches what we want. We can just quickly turn it off and on to see the difference. Now we are getting the blended tone that we initially wanted. So the next thing for us is to make sure that it is not too much. We have to make sure that it blends enough and it is not too much. If it is too much, it begins to look somehow, so we need to reduce the intensity of it right now, and that's exactly what I'm doing. So we can check just a little bit of it is okay. It's okay. We cannot overly include this tone color or this application and ruin the whole photo if we want to make our design look better and pop. Okay, so the next thing now is to make the eye and teeth white. What you need to do now is to get another adjustment layer which will be in black and white. This time we need to make sure that the whites are white enough, because according to the application of the hue and saturation, it tends to be more towards the yellow and the red area. So now that we've done that, we just go to our layer mask of the black and white adjustment layer, then invert it. So then begin to target the white area. Make sure your brush is very small and the flow is around 10 to 20%. So I leave mine at 15. Then I'm just going to touch on those areas that I want to be white. Alright, switch to white because the black now hides everything. So I've switched to white, then I'm painting right now. So as you can see, it begins to take effect, and when we zoom out or we squint on this particular image, you see that the teeth begin to look better. Exactly. Now let me turn that on and off. Can you see the difference? Now the teeth begins to look better. So we'll be doing the same thing now with the eye. We're doing the same thing with the eye. Just a very few clicks, don't overdo it. Once you overdo it, it begins to look like a robot or an AI. It won't look clean as it is supposed to be. So just have this in mind. Too much of all of these application tweaks or including excessive things destroys the initial value or the initial intention of the image itself. So just be sure to make them as minimal as possible. Though functional, you are seeing the effect and you know that it is working already, but do not overdo it. Once you overdo it, it tends to destroy the quality of the image. Okay, so we are moving gradually now to where we call it a wrap. Okay, so let me do this real quick. Okay, alright, so the teeth now is whiter. Looks very much better. Just like I said to you earlier, that you tend not to overdo it. Now that we've done this application, everything is looking too white. Let's just tone it down a little bit. So it is the opacity we are dealing with this time. So I'm selecting around 68 or 70% of it. Just to see the effect, let's toggle it off and on. Can you see that? Now it looks very much better. Alright, so I believe that with this you can do a lot more. Using this simple trick and tweak, you can apply or blend the tone of your images as you design. You blend them to become one. So there is more that I can do to this to achieve perfect blending, but this is the basic thing you need to do. This is how I do it. This is the route I take. This is the way I apply it. That's the best one that really works. Thank you for viewing this tutorial to the end. I would like you to subscribe to my channel, like, share if you like what you see, and it is of great value and benefit for you. Just share so that probably to help my video rank, and I hope to see you in the next tutorial. Bye.